Trying to do a great job defensively, just wasn't able to complete it up.
And there's one of those turnovers there as they get the steal off the inbound. 3 goes up and in for Lance Nelson, averaging 6.5 points per game. Inbound pass goes right, and there's another potential turnover, but not enough on it. Pumphrey tried to save it, couldn't get enough of a jump. But again, there's that aggressive press defense for the Vikings, forcing almost back-to-back turnovers for the Firebirds just on the inbound.
Yeah, and especially when North Park is playing that sticky as well to their man, so it's going to be difficult, especially when you see them start to trap it as well. We saw it earlier on with Julian Campbell down low, where as soon as he got the ball, 3 people went to his way. Now in the defensive and full court press, you're seeing 1 to 2 players try to just steal the ball away from Carthage.
Balatovich on the inbound gets it into Williams, back to Balatovich. From the top of the key, Campbell sets the screen. Back outside to Williams. Pulls up just inside the arc. No good off the rim. And Ryan Johnson comes down with it. Now it's Nesbitt inside to Balatovich. Balatovich draws the foul. 7-4, North Park leading. Balatovich is someone who's going to end up in the top 10 in a lot of categories for his career here. Although I don't think he'll hit any of those records, all thanks to his coach and what Steve Jerakovic did during his time, as there's a 3 off the rim, rebounded by Balatovich. But Steve, the numbers he put up while he was a player here, borderline video game-like.
Yeah, it really was. And Balatovich is trying to reach it. Campbell a little bit short on that one. But, of course, Balatovich has played the majority of his career. He's always really, really good, almost a superstar for this team. Just isn't able to always get through it at times, especially at the free throw line. And
Coach Jerakovic even said in a post-game interview a few weeks back I think these teams are getting tired of seeing Phil out on the court. Yeah. I think they're ready for him to graduate. And if I were the opposing side, I wouldn't blame him. Pumphrey drives inside, kicks it over to Lay, who literally kicks it out of bounds. Ball going the other way for the Firebirds.
So far, Carthage has been doing good on the defensive end. Yes, they are down by 3, but it's just the fast-pacedness and the stealing that's been North Park's sort of go-to against this Carthage squad. But just as soon as they get late on the shot clock, Carthage is able to slow it down and be able to get it completely.
And Williams goes up. No call, but the ball will stay with the Firebirds on the baseline. Williams trying to get the foul on the driving layup in transition. Didn't get the call, but at least the Firebirds retain possession. So they go up and into Campbell, who puts it up and in. Nesbitt on the assist. And there's again that size that's going to help the Firebirds tonight if they can keep up with the Vikings' speed. Lay looked like he was going to pull up a 3 instead. Gives it to Pumphrey, who pulls up a jumper, no good. Johnson comes down with the rebound. Williams back to Johnson. Inside to Campbell. Balatovich driving inside. Goes up for the layup, and it's good.
Yeah, that was a great play by Balatovich, just making sure to hold on to it. Almost looked like he went through it completely. And you talked about as well, Lay looking for that 3-point line. I don't think he will really shoot one, shooting at 125 from the 3-point line.
But it's the way he can drive from the 3-point line and score. You just don't see it a lot, especially at the Division III level, and he is doing it at a rate that has just been essential to this Firebirds offense as Nesbitt hits from inside the paint. Pumphrey drives inside, gets the foul, no shot. They're going to call it on Antoine Nesbitt, his first personal. Nesbitt, we mentioned, leads the country in minutes played at 37.5. He also leads the CCIW right now in assists at 5.2 per game. North Park will inbound from the baseline. Van Landingham in the corner. Finds a way past Williams, goes up and in over Nesbitt. Very impressive finish there for Van Landingham.
Yeah, Nesbitt, one of the high flyers in the CCIW for this Carthage squad, and it looked like Van Lindingham was just a little bit higher than him right there.
Nesbitt, he makes the bucket despite hitting the floor. Great response to getting beat on the defensive end. Pumphrey gets the shot up. No foul, no travel call. Johnson comes down with it. I believe we have a injury timeout. Nesbitt appears to be a little rattled coming off the bench. Coming onto the bench, and coming in for him is number 3, Colton Sigel. We mentioned has had a couple of really big games as of late for the Firebirds. 15 points against Carroll, 14 points against Augie. Unfortunately, the Firebirds came up a bit short in both those games, but it's good to see Sigel finding the net.
Yeah, it really has. Now averaging about 5.7 points per game, and especially taking that sort of step up once Julian Campbell got injured into that starting role and trying to be that spark that the offense needed.
Campbell finds Johnson top of the key for 3. It goes! Ryan Johnson has been electric from 3 all year long.
Yeah, he really has. Just ever since that Whitewater game, too, he's sort of come out of his shell and just exploded onto the scene saying, yes, I'm a true freshman, but it seems like I've been here forever.
And that was almost like his awakening to the D3 level. It was like, hey, I played really well as we beat the #1 team in the country. I can do this. Like, this isn't a scary step up from high school anymore. And when you're a 6'7" freshman, it shouldn't feel that scary when you're that big. Campbell puts up a shot, no good. Loose ball, scrambling around, recovered by the Vikings, going the other way. Van Landingham fires up a 3. It's good in the face of Johnson. And the Vikings even it back up at 15 apiece with 13 to go here in the first half. Johnson inbounds to Sigel. They get it along to Balatovich. He's got time, he's got room. The layup, and he draws the foul. Can't get the bucket to go.
I think Bulatovich is happy that he got the foul there and didn't just end up in Sports Center's not top 10.
Yeah, that would have been a little rough if there was a no call with the miss. Bulatovich at the line. I believe they called the foul on number 21, Phil Holmes Jr. He was trying to work around the screen from Campbell inside the paint. He was able to get enough of Balatovich to mess up the shot, but unfortunately for him, got called with the foul. Pumphrey headed to the bench. Balatovich next free throw, no good. Recovered by Van Landingham. He kicks it up quickly and up and in for DJ Wallace, the freshman out of Hoffman Estates, Illinois. And Wallace makes another defensive stop there, knocking it out of bounds. Johnson tried to find Williams trapped in the corner. That's something North Park's done a really good job with so far to start this game, is getting the Firebirds trapped in the corner.
Yeah, they really have this. Antoine Nesbitt comes back in. And also, not to mention as well, North Park, they're going to the more taller lineup. They have number 11, DJ Wallace, who's sitting at about 6'8", as well as number 21, Phil Holmes Jr., who's sitting about 6'9". So going to that little bit of a taller look, faces Carthage squad as Bulatovich gets an and one.
Beautiful play. Great feed from Ryan Johnson in the corner to find Balatovich driving in. And his touch off the glass there, just so pretty, despite the contact. Foul's going to go on number 4, Julian Gatewood, 6-foot junior. His first. 4 fouls already for the Vikings in this one. Shot off the rim, no good. Rebound, Wallace. Very quickly again, the fast-paced Vikings on the move. Wallace top of the key. This is Van Landingham. Van Landingham working on Balatovich. Drives inside, help from Nesbitt. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound for Sigel. Vikings switch to a half-court pressure here. Running a 3-2 zone. Kicks outside Williams. Williams pump fakes the 3. Drives around, gets the screen, and a foul called. I believe it's going to be on number 21, Phil Holmes Jr. And it is, so his second already on the day. Holmes Jr. second in CCIW in blocks per game, averaging a little over a block per game. That's the team high 3 blocks against Carroll back in November, as well as in the game against Lawrence back on November 8th. Sigel inside to Balatovich. Balatovich tries to draw the foul, doesn't get it. Poked away, Balatovich recovers. And in the scramble below, they're going to say North Park had enough possession and was out of bounds. Possession stays with the Firebirds. Balatovich tried to get the cell there. Couldn't quite get it. Couldn't tell if there actually was contact. Might have been a little bit.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit, but especially just trying to get that contact as well, especially since North Park is at 5 fouls already this early in this game. So might as well try to get those fouls and try to get up into the bonus even more.
And that's almost how you have to play against teams this aggressive on the defensive end, is try to get to the line any way possible as much as you can, because they're going to either A, have to not be as aggressive, or keep fouling you and force you to the line. Sigel for 3 from the corner. No good. Rebound Johnson. And a foul is called. I believe it's going to be on number 22, Kenton Lay, his second as well. Very quickly here, the Vikings starting to get in some foul trouble. Nesbitt will inbound from the baseline. Finds Johnson, right elbow. With a Sigel on the left elbow, into Balatovich in the corner. Balatovich working on Wallace. Go inside. Wallace nearly pokes it away. Number 11 working on number 11. Balatovich puts it up. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, TJ Gardner. Gardner kicks it inside to Wallace, who lays it up and in. And Coach Jarakovic's seen enough. He wants a timeout. 11:02 remaining in the first half. North Park 19, Carthage 18.
DJ Wallace there just sort of found the open look, just sort of ran right by it. I don't think Carthage really saw him go to the basket. It was just wide open, just was able to lay it up right there.
And you can tell North Park, they work on those driving lanes, those cut passes. Like, we've seen them run that a couple times already. This was really the first time it's worked to perfection for them. But it's definitely a good, crucial part of their fast-paced offense, moving the ball around without putting the ball on the ground too much.
Yeah, it really is. And you also talked about it too. We saw this sort of the smaller lineup come out in the first sort of half, in this first half. The smaller lineup, no really bigs, going fast, full court, and then they were able to slow it down a bit, get those two taller guys with DJ Wallace and Phil Holmes Jr. So you're able to play two really big styles with this North Park squad. And it's going to be interesting to see coming into the next few years where DJ Wallace does get a few more years, and Phil Holmes, who's a junior right now, grows a little bit more into the seniorhood, to try to and sort of see what they're able to do with the coming years.
Tanner Lamb in for the Firebirds. Mentioned him earlier and how excellent his shooting's been as of late. Nesbitt inside, goes up, no good. Rebound and saved by Gardner. Gardner draws the foul. I believe it'll go on Sigel. Sigel indeed draws the foul, his first of the day. Just the second for the Firebirds compared to the Vikings 6. Campbell checking back in for the Firebirds, giving him a little rest, but again, seems like Coach Jarakovic, you're going to use him as much as possible tonight.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised he is as well, because of how dominant Julian Campbell can be down low, especially with there only being a few weeks left of the regular season. Just making sure his legs are healthy and he's able to go full strength when the playoffs do come.
Three-pointer no good for Devontae Robinson, rebounded by Nesbitt, and the Firebirds take it the other way. Nesbitt finds Johnson in the corner, inside to Campbell. Campbell tries to go up, gets swatted out of bounds. I believe that was DJ Wallace who got a hand on it. Again, one of those bigs that you mentioned North Park's brought back into the lineup to try and combat with the size of the Firebirds. Sigel in the corner. Over the top of the key, Johnson for three. Off the rim, no good. Brought down by Pumphrey. Pumphrey driving in, goes coast to coast.
That was a great move as well, having one of the Carthage guys try to lean out, try to steal it, and then just ended up going right by him and then just be able to lay it up the end.
Nesbitt finds Johnson. trapping him in the corner. Back to Nesbitt. Inside to Campbell. Campbell working, goes up. No good off the rim. Can't bring the rebound in. Wallace is the one to bring it down. The Vikings looking to extend their lead here in the first half. Pumphrey pulls up for three. No good. Rebound Sigel. The Firebirds take it the other way. That could have been a troublesome three, doubling the Vikings' lead. Last time these two teams met down in Chicago, Vikings led for most of the matchup, and it was a late surge for the Firebirds in the last few minutes, forcing overtime and coming away with the victory. I believe North Park ran into a little bit of foul trouble to help things out. Nesbitt kicks out to Johnson in the corner for three. No good. And Sigel hits the ground hard. Play continues going the other way. A three in the corner for Gatewood. No good. Ball tipped away and saved by Devontae Robinson. He chucks up a three. No good. Lamb comes down with the rebound.
Again, we talked about it before, how Carthage has been sort of getting these sort of lucky breaks. North Park able to go big, tries to go for 2 3-pointers, ends up missing on both, and now it's still stuck at about a 3-point deficit for Carthage.
Johnson working on Gatewood. Kicks it out. Nesbitt thinks about the three, drives inside, gets the foul on the layup attempt. 2 shots coming up for Antoine Nesbitt. We're going to call it on number 11, DJ Wallace, his first. 7th already for the Vikings. Glad to see Nesbitt back on the court. He went off shaken up, might have gotten hit in the nose or the lip earlier on in the first half. Like we mentioned a couple times now, he's not one to leave the floor very often.
No, he really isn't. And then now we see a whole basically line change for North Park. But Carthage still sticking with the same stuff. Bulatovich back in, Ryan Johnson taking a breather, Williams back in as well. So going to be interesting to see what North Park tries to do here, especially since they haven't really scored in the past few minutes.
Johnson's gotten a couple good looks tonight. Not all of them have fallen, but he's really been an integral part of both the offense and the defense tonight, as well as this entire season for the Firebirds. Pumphrey working on Nesbitt. Kicks it back outside. Van Landingham up and in, taken away by Williams. Bulatovich goes the other way, finds Nesbitt, back to Bulatovich, goes up and in. Transition offense working to perfection, and now here come the Vikings. Van Landingham up and over Campbell, no good. Campbell comes down with it. And Williams is going to slow things down. What a transition move, though, for the Firebirds.
Yeah, that's really good for Carthage, just making sure, hey, we can go fast when we want to as well, but we can also slow it down, make sure that we want to try to provide our offense as well as we can. And just that two-man game between Antoine Nesbitt and Bulatovich, they've just been playing it so perfectly. But that pass went a little bit awry for Nesbitt right there.
Nesbitt on the defense, no good on the shot attempt for Gardner. And back in. I believe that was Lance Nelson on the bucket. And Nesbitt, that's why he's leading the conference in assists, is on a play like that, he could have easily gone for the layup attempt himself, maybe drawn a foul, maybe gotten the bucket himself. But he said, no, I'm going to give it to our top scorer. I'm going to let him try and inch us back closer to breaking down this deficit. Bulatovich top of the key, drives inside, gets it poked away, and it's going to go off of Bulatovich. He doesn't like the call. North Park will take over possession. From our angle, couldn't tell who touched it last, but the official had a pretty good view of it, so I'm guessing he's right on it. You would hope, at least.
Yeah, you would hope, especially since he's right there and we're about halfway across the building from it.
Your vision's not that good?
No, it's not.
Foul on the ground, called on Sigel, his second. He becomes the first Firebird to have to start worrying about fouls in this game. As Griffin Dawn's going to come out and give Sigel a breather. Inbound pass to Pumphrey. Pumphrey pulls up from just outside the free throw line. No good. Rebound for Nelson. And they reset at the top of the key with Pumphrey. Back to Nelson. Nelson thinks about the three. Back to Pumphrey. Pumphrey inside. Up and no good for Holmes Jr. Campbell comes down with it. Firebirds so far have been really good defensively, especially when they can force North Park to slow things down. Campbell goes up for 3, and it's good!
When Campbell's hitting stuff like that, that means that he's going to be starting to become unstoppable, and especially on the defensive end, like you said. It looks like it was going to be a bit of a mismatch. Griffin Dawn ended up trying to take up Phil Holmes Jr., but Campbell's like, nah, go back to your guy. I got him. Was able to disrupt the shot in the defensive end as well.
You said when he's hitting shots like that, Julian Campbell, 6 games this year, mind you, missing a few and having limited minutes in others, has had 6 20-point games. And it looks like a foul's going to be called there. Coach Jarakovic doesn't like it. They're going to call it on Griffin Dawn, his first. Dawn, the 6'3" sophomore out of Wakanda, Illinois. And it looked more like he just kind of fell over his own shoes there, maybe even tripped over the basketball. Not sure if that was a foul or not, but either way, Dawn gets one tally next to his name. Nelson working on Balatovich. Over to Van Landingham. Inside, pulls his shot up over Williams. Off the rim, no good. Campbell comes down with it. And Balatovich takes it the other way. Coach Jarakovic still pleading his case with the ref on that last call. Dawn driving inside, puts it up. No good. Rebound, Balatovich. Tries to get the putback, no good. Vikings take it the other way. Van Landingham. Around Williams, kicks out to the corner. Corner 3. Off the rim, no good. Balatovich gets the rebound and I believe draws the foul. Actually, it's going to be a Carthage foul against A.J. Williams. Nelson tried to hit the 3 from the corner and the foul was called. Loose ball away from the rim even. I didn't see what happened on it. From the 3, Nelson again, no good. And bit of a rugby match going on for the ball. Vikings recover. Corner 3. Gardner, no good. Rebound, Nesbitt. Balatovich, top of the key, drives inside. Tries to draw the foul. Multiple bodies hit the ground, and it's going to be a blocking call. Looks like it's going to go on Gardner. Gardner's first. 8th foul already in the half. And the Firebirds enter the bonus with 4:42 to go and a 2-point lead.
And especially now with them in the bonus as well. So far, Balatovich on the night already has 5 fouls in total, only hit 2 of them. So if you're North Park, you're sort of hoping that it's Balatovich that's being the one being fouled, because so far he hasn't been able to hit them the entire night, as he just makes me.
There you go. See,
right there.
You doubted him and he saves it. All right, we should start doubting him more when he goes to the line, maybe. Balatovich though has been, again, an integral part, especially with the way he can drive to the basket, as he hits another one there. So talking a little smack about his free throws, and he bounces back.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him working on it this morning. So he was working on it before the game. So I guess that work does come off. He is shooting the free throw at about 44% this season. So a little bit less than 500. But again, if you're able to hit them in the crucial moments, you're able to hit them in the crucial moments.
The Firebirds they're an interesting team in that sense, where that's almost been a struggle for them this year. They're second in the CCIW in a free throw attempt, so they get to the line a lot. The problem with that is they're 9th out of 9 in free throw percentage. So they're getting to the line a lot, they're just not hitting enough shots at the line, and that might have cost them in some games like Augustana, Wheaton, some of these games that they probably should have had but didn't come up short. As we have a timeout with 4:24 to go, Carthage up 27-25, another 30-second timeout.
Yeah, and you talked about it as well. That free throws, just that little bit of a differential has been sort of like the make or break for the season, like you said. And especially if you're able to hit those in this game as well, where it is a close score, 27-25 for Carthage, then that shows, okay, we're starting to grow a bit and trying to make sure we can hit those free throws. You see Julian Campbell's beautiful 3 right there, but again, going into this game, you sort of talk about, like, hey, okay, North Park, they're 6th in the CCIW. Yes, they're good defensively, but maybe the offense of Carthage can able to do it. But really, you look at these two squads, right now, the rebounding margin for Carthage is +1. They're about 2 rebounds off from each other, 37.5 per game for Carthage, 35 per game for North Park. So just a little bit lower rebounds for North Park. But if they're able to get those rebounds back up, especially against this Carthage squad, then they're able to take away from it easily, especially with how fast-paced they are.
Don works out of the trap. Nesbitt gets his pass tipped. He gets it back to himself. He goes up big! Oh, my goodness, Antoine Nesbitt! And then he gets the defensive stop on the other side. Don takes it the other way. Antoine Nesbitt, 6'4", says no problem and goes up over the defender, puts him on an absolute poster.
I need to know his vertical. It's got to be at least like 4 feet.
It's more than 6'4", I'll tell you that. He got up big there. Ball goes out of bounds, going to stay with the Firebirds here. Again, Nesbitt, a 6'4" junior out of Milwaukee, just showing some pretty hops, along with some power just to get over that defender for the one-handed slam. And then to get back down, he could have easily stayed there, celebrated. He got back down and made the stop on the defensive end. Yeah, and it looks like that the camera person is checking her photos as well, making sure that they got that on that poster. Because if so, I want that in my room right now. We need that for the graphic tonight, that's for sure. And that pass goes awry. Campbell tried to fire that pass over to Dawn, and it's a little high for the 6'3" sophomore. I think he was hoping he had Nesbitt's hops. Yeah, all his teammates could get up that high.
Yeah, Griffin Dawn so far this season, though, has sort of come into his own later in the season off of the as like a nice rotational piece for this Carthage squad. Hasn't really been good on the offensive end as Colden Van Landingham just, we talk about hops for Nesbitt, he has those as well.
He went over Campbell on that like Campbell was, 3 feet tall. And going back to Dawn, I feel he was truly an integral piece in that win against Elmhurst in here a few weeks ago. We started to see late in the game, Nesbitt got into foul trouble, Balatovich got into foul trouble, Dawn came off the bench, and he made a couple of big plays, but he also kind of got under the skin of Elmhurst team a bit. He got a little chippy. He unfortunately drew a technical foul, but it was a double technical, and he made a couple big plays. As that one goes through the legs of Campbell, not enough for a shot clock violation. And the Vikings will take it the other way. But Dawn's scrappiness, I think, has helped them win some games late. When he's able to get out there, he may not score a lot, he may not get a lot of boards, but he's just a feisty piece on the defensive end that can just kind of irritate teams on the offensive and defensive end.
Yeah, and you always really need that, especially if there's somebody off the bench that knows their role. That's always talk about, hey, you got to know your role on this team. If you're the offensive scorer, if you're the defensive guy. But Griffin Dawn is just like, hey, I'm going to get under your skin. I'm going to be that. I'm going to talk smack. I'm going to make sure, like, hey, you feel me, even though I'm not on the scoreboard as much. I'm going to be in your mind no matter what.
Vikings went around the world there, and Van Landingham jacks up a 3-rebound Balatovich. Great move there for Williams as he finds, I believe that was Johnson, and it went in and out of his hands and out of bounds.
That's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, hey, you're a true freshman. Now it's time to get in the gym. Make sure you can handle those bounce passes from these guys that can throw the ball very, very fast. It's like a fastball coming right at you.
If you're not completely ready for it or used to catching a pass at that speed, your hands are going to be like bricks, and that ball is going to bounce right off of them or go through them. And that's going to be a blocking foul, no shot. And Johnson, unfortunate on back-to-back plays there. Johnson called for his first 6th team foul. As Firebirds slowly catching the Vikings in fouls.
I think for Carthage, though, you're happy with that. If that continued, there would have been a wide open 3 for that, so then North Park would have been able to get the lead right back. So you're able to sort of break it back down and be able to slow it back down.
Pumphrey from the elbow, good off the assist by Wallace. And Pumphrey averaging 11.4 a game, already with 7 tonight. That pass stolen away by Wallace. Another turnover. Wallace can't hold on, stolen the other way. Balatovich goes the other way, kicks it out to Johnson. Johnson goes up and makes it in. Doesn't get the foul call. And that looks like that's Preston Bax. He is still down on the ground. Shot goes up, no good. Batted the other way. Bax finally up on his feet, a little slow getting up. He hit the ground hard.
Yeah,
And it looks, we've got a little bit of chippiness going on in this game. Pumphrey and Nesbitt chatting a bit in that play. They're going to get backed out of the game. I'm going to guess that's a little bit of concussion protocol.
Yeah.
He hit the ground hard there when him and Johnson connected. No foul called on it, but backs hit the ground, and you could hear it from all the way up here. Pumphrey over to Gatewood. Gatewood works inside, kicks it back out into the corner, and out of bounds. Dribbling mishap for Van Landingham. Firebirds take it the other way. It looked like Colton Van Landingham just tried to move a little too quickly, saw the baseline open, and bounced it right off his knee. Nesbitt works it up the court slowly. 43 seconds to go in the half. Carthage fakes the screen and rolls back to the low post. Dawn, top of the key. Working on walls. What a spin move. Up and in. Griffin Dawn.
I mean, that was perfect. Nice little spin move, making sure, like, hey, I'm going to go one way, spins the other. And that's exactly what you need from your rotational guy, somebody who can score like that and prove, like, hey, I can still be a starter if I wanted to.
Dawn might be someone they look to start moving forward as some of these current starters graduate. There's another three, this time for Colton Van Landingham, the leading scorer. Williams going to throw one up off the backboard, no good, and that ends the half, and we are locked at 33 in what has been an exciting first half. North Park and Carthage in a CCIW battle.
Yeah, it really has, and especially, too, highlight plays after highlight plays for both these squads. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we come back from halftime to see if North Park is able to keep up the production or if Carthage is able to slow them down completely.
And this, again, these are two teams, both of them coming off a two-game losing streak. Both of them losing to Carroll back-to-back. Carroll getting a lot of wins at home per usual. And then the Firebirds losing to Augustana on Saturday. North Park losing to Elmhurst last Wednesday. Both these teams really need this win, especially when looking at the CCIW standings. Firebirds still in contention to be one of those top two seeds. They need a lot of things to go their way. North Park still trying to hang on and make sure they don't get caught by a Wheaton, a Milliken, and Augustana for their position in the tournament.
Yeah, they really can. Now, especially since this could be a playoff preview for what we see on the 20th, because the Carthage is the 3rd seed, North Park is the 6th seed, so you could see these two teams as dunk right there. That's
so pretty.
That's over DJ Wallace too.
And he's one of the big guys we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's insane.
Not easy to do. I know I can't do that. I mean, look at that. Just boom.
That's just insane.
He said, "Thank you, DJ," and threw it down.
Yeah, and again, North Park, that's a deep three too. They're able to make these plays. They're sticking with it as well. So
it's an NBA level three right there for Pumphrey on that one. And then the move here for Griffin Dawn, just ballerina, spin around, and the pretty touch off the glass.
Yeah, and that's on DJ Wallace. So far, he's been on the lower level side of some highlights, but
talk about not top 10.
Yeah, so
we'll leave it off to the Spirit team. We'll be back shortly. Give you some stats before we hit the second half. Back here in Tarble Arena for halftime. We are deadlocked at 33 between the North Park Vikings and the Carthage Firebirds. About 10 minutes to go till we resume. But this has been a fun one to watch so far, Tyler. It has been back and forth, fast paced, highlights left and right.
Yeah, it really has. You take a look at it, you're like, hey, you're deadlocked at 33. What's really been sort of the two keys of it? And it's just, it's been I don't want to say it's been a quiet game. We sort of talked about it a little bit. But it's been a quiet game for Bulatovich. Just 10 points, sort of not really doing a whole lot, but still the leading scorer for Carthage. And you look at it up here, the field goal differential is just insane for North Park. But they're going so fast that it feels like that they're not getting the shots up, but they're just going so fast that they are getting those shots up that fast.
That is something where also North Park just jacking up threes left and right. 5 for 17. Carthage is 2 for 5. So you got to wonder if North Park can heat up from behind the arc, what's the second half going to look like? Because you got Van Landingham, he's having a night, 14 points, 6 for 11, 2 for 4 from the 3. Humphrey really hasn't woke up yet today. 3 for 11, only 1 for 4 from behind the arc, just 2 rebounds. So that's something that they're going to need him to wake up. And on the flip side of that, Julian Campbell, he's done some good stuff on the low post in his first start back from injury, but he's only 3 for 8 because he's getting, they're trapping him like crazy like we talked about in the first half. Yeah. So either find a way for him to score over the trap pressure or dish it back out because somebody's definitely open. It's just can Campbell find him.
Yeah, and there's been a few times as well, especially when he does go down to the trap, down in the low block, where Taylor Lamb or Griffin Dawn or somebody that's on the opposite court of him is wide open. He just has to try to find it and be able to toss it to him fast enough, but it's just a little bit too slow, and I wonder if that's the injury sort of knocking the rust off portion of it, where it's like, hey, we saw it earlier before where he was able to make those throws. Now it's just like, hey, he's a little bit rusty from where he's been. He only played a few minutes here and there. 19 points last week. This is his first game back where he's officially starting. So it's, again, just knocking the rust off, making sure, hey, I can keep on going back to where I was before this earlier in the season.
Absolutely. Just that step back and being able to get back to full strength in time for conference tournament play. And on top of that, I mean, for a guy like him in a game like this where North Park's given small, fast lineups, those little guys, you may not think they're a lot for a big guy like him to handle, but when they're coming at you as fast as they are, it's sometimes hard to react to.
Yeah, not to mention as well how fast-paced North Park is as well. It's taking a lot of energy from Julian Campbell, who has been out and hasn't really gotten his, I don't want to say, what's the word I'm thinking of, the sort of momentum, the fast-pacedness of it. He did have a lower leg injury, so it's not just like, hey, I was running the entire time when I was off the conditioning of it. He was dealing with a lower leg injury, so he doesn't have the conditioning back up to where it was earlier in the season, coming right off the off-season earlier in the season.
Absolutely. Gotta get him over with head track coach Josh Henry, get him back to running again, full speed.
Yep.
Get him used to that long, fast-paced game. And how about Antoine Nesbitt, though? Late in the second half, taking over both offensively and defensively. Saw him with a pretty assist to Bulatovich. Saw him with that monster dunk. Great stops on the defensive end. He has been, again, just an integral piece of this team all season, and especially tonight. He's really kept them in this game.
Yeah, 8 total points, just making sure, hey, I'm going to try to be the leader of this offense. We talked about that 2-man game with him and Bulatovich, just being able to try to find those open mans. Yes, he has had a few turnovers so far with 2 in total, but just some wild passes. But that's just North Park's defense getting better of some of these Carthage players.
looking at the conference standings, Carthage sits in third at 8-4. And the two teams ahead of them right now, Illinois Wesleyan and Elmhurst, are going at it down in Bloomington. At the half, Illinois Wesleyan up 4, 33-29 over the visiting Blue Jays. And that's a game that could really make or break Carthage's season too, no matter which way it goes tonight. If Elmhurst comes up short and falls to 10-4, Carthage comes out on top tonight. They're only a half game behind the Blue Jays, and I believe they have the tiebreaker between them. But if Wesleyan does, then they're still okay. They're a game out still. But both teams are, Elmhurst 11-3, Wesleyan 10-3. The Firebirds improved to 9-4. They're still right in it late here in the season with only a few games to play, one of which for the Firebirds being against Illinois Wesleyan here on Saturday. That's going to be a real big one. Yeah, it really is, and especially too with that being senior day as well. You know that some of these seniors for this Carthage squad is going to try to show out, especially Bulatovich, just trying to make sure, hey, I still own this team. This is my school right now. I'm going to try to go out with a bang. And especially with, like you said, Illinois Wesleyan, they're sort of fighting for that 3-2 spot, where of course they can try to go up and try to get that first round bye as well. That's sort of like the best case scenario for this Carthage squad. Absolutely, and even if they, we'll dare to venture here that Carthage comes out on top tonight, comes out on top against Wesleyan. Still not pushover games to close out the schedule. Wheaton next Wednesday. And then they close out the regular season on the road at Milliken, which is a long trip for this Firebirds team. And those games are going to be integral too late on the season. North Park closing out the year, obviously, tonight against Carthage. Then they play Illinois Wesleyan next Wednesday at home and close out on the road, just down the road from them at Wheaton College. Yeah, so both these teams just trying to find their footing. Obviously, like you said, North Park, they do have that week bye for the Saturday, so they don't have a game this Saturday. But they're able to have one home game now for the rest of this week, whereas Carthage has 3 in a row, and then their last one's away at Milliken. So again, it's sort of like these two teams. Yes, they're sort of similar coming into this game, but a bit of a road streak. Lost the last 2, but hey, Carthage, they have their home games now. In North Park, they have one home game, and then they're back to an away schedule. Absolutely. Just under 4 minutes away from returning to this one. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have 20 more minutes of CCIW basketball between the North Park Vikings and the Carthage Firebirds, who find themselves tied at 33. Tarble Arena for the start of the second half between North Park and Carthage. If you're just tuning in, I'm Justin Corrigan alongside Tylor Sorensen. Tylor, we've had a great game so far on our hands, 33-33. As Van Landingham pulls up for a jumper, no good. Rebound, Johnson kicked away and recovered by Nesbitt. One of the things that's really been key to this game so far is the speed of it. Both teams just moving the ball so well, both passing, moving up and down in transition, making quick defensive stops. It's really been the tempo has controlled this game. And the fact that neither team has been able to control the tempo as Balatovich misses a three and goes the other way. Pumphrey, a crossover Nesbitt. Nesbitt gets a hand on it going the other way for Williams. But neither team has really been able to control the tempo for their own, and the momentum has kind of stayed in flux the entire way. Yeah, it really has. You see North Park going very, very fast and going to their more sort of small ball lineup as Julian Campbell misses but gets his own rebound and able to finish it. Padding stats.
Yeah, whereas Carthage, of course, they're going with their taller lineup with Ryan Johnson and Julian Campbell, both about 6'7", 6'8", in their lineup right now. So North Park, we saw this before, going for that small ball, try to push the pace, go for that full court press in the defensive end, and try to make sure that Carthage makes a mistake, as Golden Van Landingham ends up with the travel.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Carthage has done very well on the defensive end, is limit the mistakes. They only had 6 fouls, and none of them were shooting fouls. North Park did not shoot a single free throw in the first half. Carthage shot 11, making 7 of them. And I think that's a big tell here too, is we're gonna say that ball did not touch Van Landingham, and it was just a pass that went awry for Ryan Johnson, just past the reach of Campbell. Steve Jarakovic's not overly thrilled with that call, but he's not arguing it too aggressively either. And Landingham drives inside, working on Williams. Shot goes up, no good. Hit the other way, stays with North Park at the baseline.
Yeah, almost 3 Carthage jerseys right there. But again, if North Park's been trying to play like, hey, we're going to get out-rebounded maybe because of how short we are, but we're going to try to go for the fast and try to be aggressive on this defensive end.
And Landingham gets some space. Kicks it back outside. Pump fake. This is Bax. Good to see him back in the game. Went out earlier with a hard contact injury. Pumphrey inside. Shot over Campbell, no good. Johnson able to bring it down. Shot by Kenton Lay was no good. Saw Lay out early, started the game, but got 2 quick fouls and went to the bench. Didn't see him for most of the second half of that first half. Johnson over to Williams. Williams crosses up Van Landingham. Switch up for Bax. Campbell, top of the key. Gets over to Nesbitt. Inside, Balatovich fakes out and gets a look and up and in. Able to get Van Landingham to go airborne and had a nice open look on the low post.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Carthage. Pumphrey inside.
Travel. Looks like they might be discussing, but yeah, going back to that offensive end, that's exactly what Carthage wants, especially with how aggressive North Park is.
Not sure what the call is here. It appears North Park's going to stay with it. We thought it was a travel, but no fouls really being called either. Jarakovic looking for some clarification. Van Landingham once again working on Williams. Crosses over, drives inside, tries to get the shot, blocked away by Williams. And a foul. Actually, I believe it's not a foul, but it says out of bounds on Van Landingham. And Landingham with a very aggressive swat at the ball there.
Yeah, it looked like it could have been a foul, but I guess they did just call it that it was all ball.
Landingham pokes that one away, and he is very enthusiastic right now.
I mean, he's playing very aggressive too, trying to go for the ball, making sure, hey, we're not getting an easy basket, and just trying to make it to Carthage. They have to be feeling them no matter which way they throw the ball.
That's going to be a reach-in foul on Lance Nelson, his first personal, and the first foul of the second half for either side. Nesbitt 3 for 4 on his last 4 attempts in the first half, on his only 4 attempts in the first half. Full court pressure being put on by Pumphrey. Balatovich trying to bring the ball up, gets the pass off, finds Johnson, back to Balatovich, open look and up and in. Great give and go for Balatovich. Johnson able to find him cleanly for an open lane. Shot up and in for DJ Wallace. A lucky bounce off the rim there. Wallace has shot the ball very well tonight. He's 3 for 3 in the first half, making him 4 for 4. Johnson along the baseline finds Campbell. Campbell back up top, Balatovich works inside. Ball gets tapped away and recovered by Wallace. Correction. Working inside on Campbell, up and in for Preston Backs the third. Backs doesn't seem the least bit phased by the injury earlier, and that one's tapped to the side. Another great play for Van Landingham. Van Landingham, as we previously mentioned, team high in scoring for a single game against the Firebirds back on January 3rd, 38 points.
Yeah, so far today, it seems like he's always around the ball trying to get those steals, and so far hasn't come down with one completely, always out of bounds. But again, like we've been sort of saying, this North Park squad, they've been going very, very fast, trying to get those shots up, trying to just make sure they fall. And so far, they've taken 5 minutes off the clock, and it's been a very slow-moving second half so far.
Yeah, you're only 6 to 4 in favor of Carthage in the second half after a 33-33 game in the first half. But both teams are playing. They're playing well. I mean, Carthage shooting 60%. North Park's gotten a couple turnovers. They've limited their foul count a lot more efficiently. They're taking care of things on the defensive end. Still only 2 for 7 in the half. Plenty of basketball to be played, just under 16 to go here in Tarble Arena. Johnson top of the key, finds Campbell inside off the backboard, and Campbell gets blocked, takes it back and goes up again and puts it in himself. Good control by Campbell there, working with multiple defenders around him. Again, that's that comfort we were talking about during the half, is just getting used to the pace of the game, the size down low. There's a foul called. I believe that'll be on the ground against Ryan Johnson. And it will be a blocking call. Johnson's second already. I believe they're going to put TJ Garner at the line here for 2. Garner, 649 free throw shooter on the season so far with 37 attempts. So he tries to help the Vikings inch a little bit closer here. 15-15 on the clock, 41-38 Firebirds lead. Bring the pressure again in the corner. Nesbitt kicks out to Williams. Williams working on Garner. Gets picked up by Van Landingham. Van Landingham back to Nesbitt. Pair of fives working on each other here. Screen for Campbell. Get back down to the low post. Now it's Wallace working on him as he gets the poke away. Nesbitt recovers, drives inside on Wallace, up and off the rim, no good. Recovered by Van Landingham. What a feed to Wallace. Wallace can't control it, and it goes the other way. Campbell picks it up, and a foul on Van Landingham, and once again, very passionate right now. He came out absolutely fired up in the second half.
Yeah, he really has. That's only his first foul so far in this game for Van Landingham. And with how aggressive he is, I'm sort of surprised that he doesn't have more, especially with how many fouls that North Park had in that first half.
I don't know if we saw the same type of aggression that we've seen from him in the second half. He definitely was all over the place as a ball hawk, but that was more, he was almost more playing like a football safety or a cornerback instead of, this is more, he's getting aggressive. He's getting up in the face of the offensive player. He's swiping at the ball. Campbell gets the and one. And the big man flexes. keeps the composure. Foul is going to go on number 1, Shamar Humphrey, his first personal. Campbell looks to finish off the 3-point play.
Yeah, that's a nice play as well by Campbell. Just he had number 11, DJ Wallace, on him. Wallace went a little bit aggressive to try to go to Nesbitt. Nesbitt found him, spun out, and then got the N1.
Campbell off the rim, no good. Covered by Wallace, going the other way. Devontae Robinson finds Pumphrey. Pumphrey kicks over. This is Van Landingham. Now Pumphrey top the key. Gets the screen from Wallace. Nesbitt gets through. Pumphrey drives inside. Layup too high. Campbell brings it down, muscles it away from Wallace. Sigel back in the game for the Firebirds. Picks up his dribble, finds Williams. Nesbitt guarded very closely by Garner at the edge of the Carthage logo. Finds Campbell. Campbell jacks up a 3. Off the rim, no good. Rebound Pumphrey. A little bit more defensive pressure on Campbell that time around. Foul is called. Foul's going to go on Johnson, his 3rd. That could brew for some trouble for the Firebirds down the stretch here. Having a guy like Johnson already at 3 fouls.
Yeah, it really could, and especially too, North Park just sort of walking into him, trying to bait the foul, and ends up getting it. So they're trying to slow it down, try to go to this half court, and try to make sure that they're able to try to find the open man.
3 for Van Landingham from the elbow, off the rim, no good. Good rebound offensively. And a delayed call, but Robinson caught the ball and just kind of hopped out of bounds on his own.
Yeah, it looks like that they're saying that North Park called a timeout there as well. So I wonder if when he was trying to go out of bounds, he just called a timeout, just really fast, trying to make the play.
That might be the case. Looks like they're not sure what happened there. We saw Robinson come down with the rebound on the kind of a sluggish Carthage defense. We haven't really seen them move that slow tonight. Robinson comes down with it, kind of takes a hop looking to pass the ball, and then just kind of didn't, and almost kind of froze midair and then fell out of bounds. Yeah. Ref signaled that it's Carthage ball, but it appears North Park called timeout ahead of time as Pumphrey's lining up to inbound the ball. Humphrey finds Robinson. Robinson inside, stolen away by Sigel.
Great play by Sigel, noticing when to go in and just is able to swat it away right at the perfect time.
Like a bandit in the night. Screen from Baladovic. Pass goes awry. Nesbitt, and it's kicked out of bounds, stays with the Firebirds, goes off the foot of Pumphrey. That's a big break for Sigel there. That pass was to nobody. Not sure if he was trying to find Baladovic off the pick and roll. More of a pick and fade. Nesbitt wasn't ready for it. Ball passed into the backcourt. Nesbitt takes it across. Switch up now. Nesbitt inside, draws the foul. Off the rim, no good. 2 more shots at the line coming up for Baladovic. Baladovic will be taking his 8th and 9th free throws of the game already. He has been living at the free throw line today.
Yeah, he really has, and especially too, if you're North Park, I said this in the first half, you're sort of living with it being Baladovic because of his about 44% free throw shot, but you're really hoping he's not able to mark it down. As again, I talk bad about him, and he ends up nailing the first one.
I think that's your secret now.
I think I do.
Maybe he just takes that criticism and just translates it. So maybe we got to start being like the 2 old guys in the Muppets, just heckling him from up here. That one goes in too.
I guess so.
All right, there we go. We figured out the secret to Phil hitting his free throws. We'll have to tell Coach Jared Kovic in the postgame. We figured it out for him. He doesn't have to shoot another free throw in practice.
Yep.
Just kidding, Steve. Don't let him do that. That one tapped away by Sigel and out of bounds. And that last time Baladovic getting in the line, that started on a Colton Sigel steal. That was just perfectly executed. Just snuck in behind, poked the ball away, took control. Firebirds came back down. And that now, Vikings with the ball, top of the key. Robinson moving it around. Guarded by Sigel. Launches a three from the parking lot. No good. Rebound, Baladovic poked away, and a foul is called. Baladovic, they went after his lunch money there. Foul is going to go on Robinson.
Yeah, that's a great job defensively by Carthage, making sure, hey, we're not going to give you an open shot, even though it seemed like they had a few times that they could have tried to shoot up a three, and they ended up taking a super deep one that just didn't fall.
Nesbitt brings it across. Gets the screen from Johnson. Switch up, Robinson now guarding. Over to Williams. Williams guarded by Van Landingham. Back to Nesbitt, top of the key. Inside to Johnson. The pass is a little too far and taken the other way by Garner. Garner puts up a layup over Nesbitt. No good. Scuffle for the ball. Comes down with it, A.J. Williams. Firebirds now lead by 7. Just under 12 to go.
And the great job by Baladovic as well. The missed floater, just trying to swat it away, and then Williams was right there able to clean it up.
Almost more of a volleyball tip there than a basketball rebound for him. Sigel's quick pass, batted away, taken the other way by Humphrey. Van Landingham driving in on Williams. Quick steps, and up and in. What a move with the Euro step coming in for Van Landingham. Vikings back within 5. Finds Williams. Williams, open look to the line. Goes up for the layup and in. Not afraid of Phil Holmes Jr. at all. And that might have been partially, he knew Holmes has 3 fouls. He can't go up aggressive at me. And that was a wow. He's a bit of a magician the way that ball went in.
Yeah, it really is for Van Landingham. Just no matter which way he's really been doing it, he's just trying to will this North Park team to try to score points, to try to erase this deficit.
Van Landingham, only 6'1", a junior out of Richmond, Indiana. Sigel from the parking lot is good. Colton Sigel forces the timeout to be called as he hits a dagger from the parking lot. He was almost sitting in the students section how far back he was there.
Yeah, we talked about him pregame. Colton Sigel, he always seems like he has that green light in his head, always willing to take that shot, and right there it ends up falling, and it seems like that could be the turning point for this Carthage squad, and he might try to put it away for this Carthage team.
Firebirds now at their largest lead of the game, 50-42 with 10:35 to go on the clock. That was an absolute dagger. No hesitation. Like a D3 Steph Curry from deep.
And of course, just being able to find that as well, find it wide open, we talked about it as well. That's over Phil Holmes Jr., who's at 6'8", center position player for North Park. So he's not afraid to shoot up over those taller guys and be able to drain it from deep.
I mean, as is, when they're just standing straight up and down, that's a 6-inch difference, and that's not even including the wingspan of the defender. Like, that is just excellent awareness of his ability to make that shot and that confidence to take that shot. You know, we've talked about it earlier. There are games where Sigel, he misses a lot sometimes. But then there's nights like tonight, there's nights like the last couple games where he's had double-digit points, where his confidence pays off, and the willingness of the defense to let him shoot that ball, to take the gamble that's going to be a night he might not hit as much. And it's been paying off for the Firebirds as of late.
Yeah, it really has. Now it looks like North Park is going back to their small ball lineup with number 22, Kenton Layton. So no really big tall players for North Park. Try to go for that nice fast rotation that they have been going on so far.
We've not really seen Pumphrey or Van Landingham head to the bench too much in this one. That's going to be a foul. I believe they're going to count the basket here. Call that one. Call that one on Sigel, his third. So now that's 2 Firebirds with 3 fouls, and Van Landingham just continues to try and magically will his team to victory here. It's now 20 points for him on the day as he can't bring the free throw in. Maybe it works the opposite for him. You know, I start talking nice about him, he'll miss his free throws, he'll miss his shots. And Nesbitt goes up again! And that pass sails out of bounds! He discombobulated the man! Antoine Nesbitt with 2 poster slams today. Firebirds catch a break there as the miscommunication on the inbounds pass, which really was unforced. Nobody was pressuring.
Yeah, nobody was pressuring, and you looked at North Park there as well. Number 1, Shamar Humphrey was talking to his team, being like, "Hey, you got to go for it. You go forward. I'm leading you forward." And now as well, Carthage, they have it from not from the side, but underneath their own basket.
Chance to build this lead even farther. Balatovich off the baseline gets the blocking foul. I believe they're going to call that on Lay. No basket, and yes, the foul is on Kenton Lay, his 3rd. So, pair of Vikings with 3 fouls, pair of Firebirds. And DJ Wallace will check back in for Lay as with 3 fouls, Lay's got to be careful. DJ Wallace, he's been a solid piece for them tonight.
Yeah, he really has. 9 points, averages about 4.1 points per game. So that's really good, especially as a freshman, too, coming into this team, especially against Julian Campbell, who's about 100 pounds heavier than him, and battling him down low and actually proving to be fairly good with it.
On top of that, as Johnson gets the and 1. Johnson goes up strong, draws the foul. Foul's going to go up against Pumphrey. Again, that's a great move for Johnson, going up against a guy like Pumphrey, who has just been excellent at poking the ball away.
Yeah, it looks like as well Julian Campbell came back and has his right knee wrapped as well. So
he's been dealing with that knee a bit off and on this year. As Johnson's free throw short. Again, there's been the Achilles heel for the Firebirds this season. And that one gets poked out of bounds, stays with the Vikings, and Pumphrey's starting to let the frustration get to him a bit as a 10-point lead is built for the Firebirds here in the second half. Outscoring the Vikings right now 21-11 in the half.
Yeah, it really has. And you're looking at it as well as tough shot.
Great move there for Julian Gatewood. The other thing, going back to the game DJ Wallace has been having, he's played 15 minutes so far tonight. He's only averaging 10.7 a game, so he's already over his average by a solid chunk of time. And I don't see them putting him on the bench, keeping his minutes limited, as that one's taken away by Gardner. And that one's poked away. I believe it was Williams that got a hand on it to prevent the dunk.
Yeah, Kyron Gardner was he looked like he was trying to do something fancy right there, and Williams was able to poke it away, something that he's sort of, I don't want to say he's not known for, because I feel like I talk about it all the time, but his defensive prowess, just always around the basketball, poking it away, and just being able to do it.
Williams on the year, 21 steals, second on the Firebirds roster. It's only second to Philip Balatovich, as another one from the parking lot for Van Landingham, no good. Tried to go back up and draws the foul. That is Kyron Gardner. Gardner makes up for the mishap of trying to be too fancy and draws the foul. Foul's going to go against Nesbitt, his second personal, and the 4th for the Firebirds tonight in the second half. Foul totals in the second half a little bit closer than what we saw in the first half. North Park already up to 7. That one is good for Gardner. Gardner averaging only 3.9 points per game. He gets his first tonight. Gardner, a 6'2" junior out of Oak Park, Illinois. His 19th appearance on the year, and that shot goes back within 6. Vikings trying to cut the damage. They go back to full court press. Nesbitt finds Johnson in the corner. Johnson works inside to Balatovich. Balatovich shakes his man, goes up and in, and 1.
Hey, and that's exactly the way that Carthage is sort of trying, building this lead up and up and up. It's just making those great plays, finding the open man, streaking, and just able to make one move, make the guy miss, and end up finishing at the basket.
Wallace called for his second foul. Balatovich now up to 18 points. And his 10th attempt at the free throw line. So far 6 for 9 on the night. Oh, see, you didn't talk bad about him. He misses. That's gonna be a jump ball. Arrow stays with the Firebirds.
I guess that is true. Because whenever we don't talk about it,
you didn't say anything bad there, and he bonked it off the front of the rim. I think we just got to keep talking bad. As Williams from the corner, it's good.
You can't leave A.J. Williams wide open like that. We saw it before each game where he's even left a little bit of space, and he has that confidence. He's going to nail it from deep.
Sigel gets another poke away, and a foul is called. See if this goes against the Vikings or the Firebirds. They're going to call it against Gartner, his second. And the Firebirds get the ball back. A.J. Williams on the season is having a historic season for the Firebirds. Right now, his three-point percentage is sitting somewhere in the top 10 all-time for the program, and he just can't seem to miss at some points.
Yeah, there's points where I know I saw firsthand at the Whitewater game where he just completely just lit up after a halftime, just knocking down three, and as Nesbitt ends up missing that free throw.
Johnson gives it all to try and keep the ball in bounds, can't do it, and the ball will go the other way for the Vikings. Looking back at that game, how far we've come since knocking off the #1 Whitewater, who's not even ranked anymore. They have votes, but their season has fallen apart a bit since that loss to the Firebirds. And there's a three from the corner, no good. Nesbitt brings it down and resets. Well, Whitewater, that game was just electric. This was the first time this season where people came out to watch the team. They got excited. That game, the Firebirds had a big lead. The Warhawks tried to come back. As now Nesbitt from the top of the keep pumps up and draws the foul. Foul's going to go against, I believe, Preston Bax. Preston Bax the third, called for his second foul. 10th foul already with just under 8 minutes to go. Huge for the Firebirds. So that really changes how the aggression is going to pay off or not pay off for the Vikings.
Yeah, and I think this is also, you're seeing North Park start to become a little bit too aggressive. They're starting to get we can be aggressive, but not too aggressive. Now they're getting to that point where it's just, they're letting their frustrations out against this Carthage squad.
Nesbitt hits the second free throw. Pumps the lead up to 12 for the Firebirds, 60-48, 7:53 to go. A lot to still be decided in the CCIW standings over the next few games, and this one could go a long way in being meaningful to either side, as that one is going to be a foul for Van Landingham. Good draw there. I believe they're going to call it against Williams, and they will. E.J. Williams with his second foul on the night. 5th team foul only now for the Firebirds. Van Landingham still doing everything he can right now to keep this North Park offense in the game. Can't hit the free throw there. He's already over his season average of 17.6 points per game. You got to figure the way he's shooting the ball tonight, he's going to keep his lead in the CCIW for field goal attempts. Williams tries to draw the foul, gets tipped away, and goes the other way. That looked from here to be off the hands of Pumphrey. Barely just rolled off the fingers of Williams. Crowd gets crazy as they just won free cheese curds after a pair of missed free throws. Spin move for Pumphrey, kicked outside. Shot goes up, no good for Lance Nelson.
Great play defensively by Antoine Nesbitt, trying to be aggressive and be in a great position to disrupt the shot from Nelson as well.
We've seen that story play out a couple times for him on the defensive end this game. And really, I think overall he's been the X factor tonight so far. He's not leading in scoring, but he has been a crucial piece as Williams for three, off the mark. Rebound Nesbitt, over to Balatovich. Balatovich up and in, and he draws the foul, and one. Philip Balatovich making it look easy. Foul is going to go against number 1, Shamar Pumphrey, his third personal. And he is still pleading his case. North Park's going to take a full timeout here, as this is quickly built up to a 14-point lead for the Firebirds. And Balatovich now up to 20 points on the night, 7 for 12, 6 for 10 from the free throw line. He leads the Firebirds in all categories. And I think, I mean, the big thing that has come away from this now is how quickly the rebounding numbers have gotten out of hand here. 37-29 in favor of the Firebirds. That really adds up with this lead they've built here in the second half.
Yeah, not to mention as well, you talk about the rebounds, but look at that three-point percentage. In the first half, North Park was 5 of 17. So far, they are 5 of 21. They've only shot 4 more three-pointers in the second half than they had in the first half. So they got to try to get that rhythm back going. And especially look at this North Park squad. There's only one player in double digits right now, and that's
Van Landen.
Yeah, Van Landingham. So you got to try to get that scoring somewhere else. And I wouldn't be surprised if DJ Wallace, who is a freshman, tries to take the next step up. He's sitting at 9 points right now. He's been a crucial part of this team in that first half, but he's sort of gone very, very quiet in the second half.
That's something as a freshman, this is a great opportunity to take that step up. You're one of your stars in Pumphrey. He's only 3 for 14 tonight. He's got 3 fouls. He can't be as aggressive, and maybe shouldn't be as aggressive as he typically is because he's having an off night. This is a great time, freshman. You're 4 for 4. You got 9 points already. Go after him. See what happens. You know, time to make or break what your future could look like. The foul is going to go, I believe, against Nesbitt here as he tried to go over the top. Nesbitt with his third, and starting to see a little bit of foul trouble concerns on both sides. For North Park, Pumphrey, Lay, and Holmes all with 3 fouls. 3 fouls on the Carthage end for Sigel, Nesbitt, and Johnson, as well as Williams with 2. North Park drives inside. Pumphrey goes up, gets the foul, and what a swat from Nesbitt. He tried to put that into the ground like he's going to play on the Carthage volleyball team tomorrow night against Dominican.
I mean, he could. He would jump out of this gym if you were to play volleyball instead.
I'm sure Coach J.W. Kike wouldn't mind having that vertical on his team. Pumphrey at the line, shooting 2. Again, he has struggled from the field, and he struggles more here, missing his first attempt. Just 3 for 14 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. And only 7 points tonight. The other numbers, too, that's right now is below still. He's still under his average for assists. That one in and out, rebound Balatovich. They try to get the jump, and they do. Arrow stays with the Vikings. Good effort there by Lance Nelson. Get his hands on the ball and try and strip it away from Balatovich. Forced to jump when the arrow goes in your favor.
Yeah, not to mention as well, Nesbitt now out, Griffin Dawn back in, especially since Nesbitt has 4 fouls already on this game.
Ball goes the other way, Balatovich. All right, my math is off here. I missed one somewhere. Nesbitt is at 4 fouls. That could prove costly down the stretch, but the Firebirds can hold this lead. It won't pay that much of a difference. Dawn from the elbow, kicks inside Balatovich. Balatovich on the post, kicks out. Sigel driving on the baseline. Up to Dawn, Balatovich from the left elbow, there's a 3. And in the words of Dick Vitale, that baby was ugly.
Yeah, that was, if we were on the opposite side, it would have looked like he made it.
Yeah,
but
nothing but net, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Not the way that counts on the scoreboard, but E for effort, I guess.
Yeah.
And again, we mentioned Balatovich not shooting a lot of 3s this year. There's a good effort there. Dawn put a hand in the face of Pumphrey, forces the miss. Sigel gets the rebound. Pressure immediately on full court. Sigel working on Pumphrey. Pressure comes from Nelson. Balatovich able to get the ball away. Van Landingham recovers. There's a foul called and a block and 1. Van Landingham gets the call. Sigel wants the charge. And Van Landingham continuing his magic, working through the contact with just such a pretty touch. Up to 22 of the Vikings' 50 points tonight.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Sigel decided to go for the charge there, sitting at 3 fouls, now at 4. So now you have 2 players as Antoine Nesbitt comes back in for Griffin Dawn, sitting at 4 fouls that could foul out of this game.
An interesting move by head coach Steve Jarakovic to try and keep both of them in the game here with still so much time left. Sigel Pump fakes. Gets it back to Nesbitt. Nesbitt over to Balatovich. Back to Nesbitt. Nesbitt, Pumphrey guarding. Switches up. Backs now on him. Pass a little high for Sigel. He gets it right back to Nesbitt. Screen for Balatovich. Nesbitt driving in. Pulls up from the free throw line. Off the rim, no good. Rebound Van Landingham. So all of a sudden, a bit of a momentum swing here after that foul. It feels like Vikings might be making a little bit of a push to cut the deficit. Pumphrey drives inside. What a move! And up and over and gets the foul on Ryan Johnson. Now Johnson's fourth. And quickly fouls becoming an issue for Carthage. That's now 3 players, all with 4 fouls. Jarakovic wants a timeout, try and regain momentum and kind of settle his group in here, as very quickly this has become a bit of an issue for the Firebirds.
Yeah, it really has, and even though they do have that 9-point lead right now for Carthage, just the foul game is becoming what's becoming an issue for this Carthage squad. 3 players in foul trouble. You guys got to make sure that you don't get that 4th foul, and especially we talked about it before with Coach Jarakovic, where he trusts his players to not get that 4th foul. But if it does happen, you still just have over 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game, so you don't want to continually foul against this North Park team.
Now it'll be interesting too to see as we move into this game, as the foul trouble comes on, are we going to start seeing some of these players we haven't seen a lot tonight? We're going to see more Griffin Dawn. We're going to see Anthony Bernero. Campbell, it's looking like he might not come back tonight with the wrap on his knee. Tanner Lamb, we saw him briefly. We're going to see more of him. This will be a really nice time to still have A.J. Johnson, unfortunately out for the year. Johnson just had surgery on that injured shoulder last week. Coach Jarakovic told me everything went well, so we wish A.J. the best in his recovery and for a speedy recovery. It's the junior out of Oswego. He's averaging 13.9 before going down in the 8th game of the year.
Yeah, especially too with somebody who had that big of a scoring outburst, who was looking to step into his own, especially with his own brother being on the squad as well. It looked like it was going to go well for him. And of course, he got injured, so now that's sort of taken a little bit of hit. But next year, when another year with Ryan Johnson, another year with A.J. Johnson, just building up that brotherhood, it could be a great 1-2 game, especially coming into next season. And
I feel like, in a way, this might be part of what's kind of given Ryan Johnson that snap-up mentality is, hey, I got to be the guy now. My brother's out. It's time for me to step up.
And especially with Ryan Johnson playing the 4 more so, especially when Julian Campbell is playing and starting.
Nesbitt goes up again, and a pretty layup. Windmills it around for the reverse crossover. There's a 3 from Nelson, and it goes.
Immediately quiets down this Carthage arena, though.
You can't deny, though, Antoine Nesbitt has been a human highlight reel tonight on both ends of the floor. Williams gets trapped, finds Balatovich. Balatovich over to Nesbitt, pass too high, Nesbitt tracks it down. More aggressive defense here, and they find Balatovich down low, draws the foul, and one! Balatovich gets the complete sell. North Park's players won it on the ground. Foul, I believe, is once again on DJ Wallace, his 3rd, and he bought that sell like he was shopping on Black Friday. He went all out for it. Did a complete flip over Balatovich. Balatovich gets his own rebound. Good heads-up play there. Talking about heads-up plays and Ryan Johnson, too. How about that one to lock it up a few weeks ago? I don't remember off the top of my head what game that was, but he was shooting free throws. The rest of the team was back. Guy grabs the rebound, holds the ball thinking it was 2 shots. Johnson grabs it, locks in the win. 3 at the buzzer, no good for Williams.
But yeah, that's those heads-up plays for this team as well for Carthage is always good. It's poked away by Balatovich.
And a timeout called by Jarakovic to save the jump ball. Balatovich appears to be a little slow to get up. Kind of got tackled there going after the loose ball. Timeout called by Jared Kovic. This game been aggressive again on both sides the entire way. So far in the first 16:35, it's gone to the Firebirds. But I feel like this next 3:25 is nowhere near close to being over.
No, it really hasn't. And you look at North Park as well. You look at the statistics here. 61 field goals for North Park to 51 for Carthage. 6 of 22. That was the Lance Nelson three-pointer that was just made. That was their first three-pointer made in the second half, and their first three-pointer made in the last 2 games in the second half. So far in their last 3 games, they've only made 1. They've only made really 2. So the second half has always been a bit of a bumpy road for them three-point wise. So if they're able to try to get that back up, it could be a very quick deficit to come by.
That's the beauty of college basketball, and I mean both teams have seen big wins this year, but also crushing losses in games that they go down to the wire. They go to overtime. Look at this last time they played each other down at North Park. North Park had a lead, they blew it, they lost in overtime. Carthage has had that a couple times on their end too. You know, the Augustana game went to overtime, not quite enough. The Carroll game, couldn't quite enough. It depends on any given night, and that's kind of been the case here tonight. This is any team's game. It's their night to win it.
Really hasn't, especially too with Carthage playing the way that they have now on this offensive side. They got to try to find a way to inbound this fast and be able to get it to this past the half-court line. Something they've been struggling a little bit with, especially against how defensive heavily this North Park team is.
Baladovic to inbound from the baseline, kicks inside, finds Sigel. Gets it over to Nesbitt. Nesbitt works his way over half court, finds Baladovic. Baladovic sets up at the top of key, gets it back to Nesbitt. Nesbitt kicks over to Williams. Williams back inside to Baladovic. Baladovic working on the defender, goes up and gets the foul. That's going to be Pumphrey in his 4th. So now a little bit of danger in the foul department. Once again for North Park, and also the fact that they just hit 10 fouls, so already double bonus for the Firebirds. Opportunities 13 and 14 at the line for Baladovic. It's the same amount of field goals he's taken from the field today.
Yeah, which, again, we talked about before, and that's also with that rebound as well earlier in the game. That's his 8th consecutive double-double on the season so far.
Baladovic coming into tonight was 13th in the NCAA in double-doubles with 12. Assume he'd probably move up a bit, adding on a 14th one here. Correction, a 13th one. Pumphrey drives inside, poked away by Johnson, recovered by Sigel. And, Pumphrey got aggressive there. That could have easily been foul number 5. Double team coming in. Finds Sigel. Sigel kicks over to Nesbitt. Nesbitt sets up, trying to slow the tempo down a bit here. 2:29 to go. Only 1 timeout left for the Firebirds, 3 for North Park. Kicks over to Williams. Williams shakes off his man, pulls up, and hits a 2-pointer, deep 2. Foot was on the line. 70-56, 2:11 to go. Pumphrey rolls inside, gets it out to Nelson. Nelson for 3. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, Sigel. And they move the ball around quickly here. Johnson gets it across half court and will slow the tempo down, gets it back to Sigel. Trying to work some clock here, as now we are under 2 minutes to go in this game. Sigel drives inside, kicks it out. Baladovic working on Van Landingham, goes up, no good. Tough defense there from Van Landingham and Wallace. Van Landingham in the corner, trip up, and a foul called on Sigel, and that will do it, ending Colton Sigel's night. Sigel not happy with the call. 5 fouls for Colton Sigel tonight. He will end his night with 3 points, so can't quite match the last couple matchups, but he's still been effective. That deep 3 helped build the lead in the second half. 1 for 2 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. And Griffin Dawn will come in to replace Sigel. That will put Robinson at the line. He makes his first. Robinson now, that was his first point of the game. I feel like he's been doing a lot more than just 1 point. He's been all over the court tonight. Makes the second substitution now as he will come off, and Preston backs the third back in for the Vikings. They find Nesbitt. Nesbitt being worked by Bax. Humphrey takes over. They get it to Williams across half court. Double team. Balatovich top of the key. More defensive pressure. Williams going to slow it down as we hit the 72nd mark in the game. Williams drives inside, finds Balatovich. Balatovich up amongst the trees, up and in. Unstoppable veteran, and Williams takes the ball away. Finds Nesbitt. Nesbitt over to Dawn. Dawn goes up with the layup, and very quickly a 16-point game with under a minute left.
And that's a smart play by Williams, just being able to realize where he's at and be able to get that steal.
And I think we talked about Nesbitt being an X factor. Williams has been another one today in the second half. As Bax hits the shot and a timeout is called. I believe the Vikings take it. Vikings will take a full timeout here, reset. 42.9 to go on the clock, 74-60. This game, second half really went to the Firebirds here.
Yeah, it really has, and it all started just sort of hitting those three-pointers, and as well as Balatovich finally making sure that he can hit those free throws. 9 of 16 from the field, 8 of 14 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds. So far the second half, we talked about it, he had a quiet first half, only having 10 points, and just completely exploded in the second half.
Now, I think looking at it too, is just the field goal percentage in the second half differential says it all. Carthage shooting 63%, 17 for 27. North Park just 10 for 28 at 35.7%. Only 1 for 7 from the three. This is a team that shoots the three ball pretty well. And they're typically a 31% shooting team. So they actually they're shooting a little bit better tonight than they, actually no, they're shooting worse tonight. Their field goal percentage is close to what they typically shoot. They shoot 43% on the year, only shooting 37% tonight. And I think that's come down to the fact that Carthage has played very good, clean defensive basketball.
Yeah, they really have, and just being able to find that open shots too for Carthage on the offensive end. Whereas North Park, they haven't really been able to find those open shots. They've had a few moments where they've been open, but they just haven't been able to find it consistently.
Carthage will take the ball at the baseline. Balatovich to inbound. He gets it into Nesbitt. Pressure coming. They find Tanner Lamb right away. Good to see Tanner back out there. Lamb gets out of the jam, finds Johnson. Pressure, no foul called. And finally a foul is called. That's going to go on Bax, his third. It's going to send Johnson to the line. Johnson trying to get it back to a 16-point game. North Park after this heads back home next Wednesday. As we mentioned before, they have Saturday off. It'll be a good day to rest for the Vikings as they will host the Illinois Wesleyan Titans, who the Firebirds happen to host next on Saturday as part of Senior Day for both the men's and women's programs. The women's game coming first at 2 o'clock. The men to follow at 4:15. Will also be Senior Day for the Spirit Squad, the pep band. And Johnson hits the second, making a 16-point game. Those are going to be some must-win games for Carthage on both ends of the doubleheader for both the men and the women. Balatovich is going to pick up the foul there. That's just his first foul.
Yeah, first foul of the game. 33 minutes into the game as well. So if you're Balatovich, I think you're happy with that outcome.
Looking around the CCIW, Wesleyan taking care of business at home. With 63 seconds left in the game, they are up 75-62 on Elmhurst, which means that unless a miracle happens here for North Park, Carthage will be back within a half game of second place behind the Elmhurst Blue Jays. Johnson's going to dribble it out, and I didn't want to say it until it was locked in. Carthage improves to a perfect 9-0 at home this season. As they take care of business here in the second half, Carthage will take the win 76-62 over North Park. A much more convincing win than what happened down in Chicago a few weeks ago. But what a game it was for Filip Miladovich. 26 points following up an impressive performance last time out, 32 points down at Augustana.
Yeah, honestly, we talked about it a little bit in the halftime show, where it felt like it was going to be a quiet night for Miladovich. Just everybody was trying to get on the scoring end, and then he just exploded in the second half. And able to hit his free throws, hit the baskets down low, and able to find those open positions and be able to score at will, basically, in the paint.
We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk with head coach Steve Jarakovic about the win. Once again, your final today, Carthage 76, North Park 62 here in Tarble Arena.
I'll probably hit more on the Wednesday game. We're going to do a pack of night that night, that day. We're trying to get people to play by the working on that game. I know it's going off. I need to look at it right now. You have to look at it right now. Okay. I love Abby's pictures here. Oh, I really hope Abby got that dunk down in that end. The guy went down to my graphic photo. Oh. They play brutal.
Back here in Tarble Arena, 76-62. The Firebirds get the win over the North Park Vikings. Joining us now is head coach Steve Jarakovic. Coach, big win coming off a tough road streak. How nice is it to have a Filip Miladovich?
It's nice to have, but you're right on that first point. It's good to be back. 2 games on the road that we thought we had. You lost an overtime game out at Rock Island at Augustana. down 1 with the ball at Carroll a week ago, and just 2 competitive CCIW road games, which are always difficult. But, you know, the last 2 days of practice could not have been at a better pace, at a better competition level, and I think that helped us get ready for North Park. They are so constant on their defensive pressure. Boyd, you got it? Now are we good? Okay. North Park is so constant in their defensive pressure that it wears on you. And it may not seem like it every single possession, but it's that 30-second, 45-second spur where they get 2-3 turnovers leading into 3 points in transition to the rim in transition. I thought we did a heck of a job. Filip Bulatovic is what you'd expect a 5th-year player to be. He's one of the best players in the conference, and it's a super consistent job all the way around. Got to the foul line 14 times, another double-double, 26 and 10, and much improved on the defensive end these last couple games for Phil.
Yeah, and you talked about as well slowing down this North Park squad. They shot 36 field goals in the first half, 17 three-pointers. You slowed them down to 28 field goals to 7. What was sort of the talk at halftime to decide to slow them down completely?
Our job is to try to make them take contested shots. They might have the best backcourt in the conference between Pumphrey, between Van Landingham. That's a true point guard that gets his teammates involved and can score it. And Van Landingham might be the best offensive weapon in the league. And we wanted to keep him off the foul line. We wanted to make him contest and take difficult shots. And I thought we did a good job of that. They took 30-whatever shots in the first half, 17 threes. I don't think that's what they would have wanted to do. So I think that's credit to our guys being in the correct help lines, being out in rotation, and make them take contested shots.
Yeah, and obviously tonight, Julian Campbell came back from injury, started the game. How is he sort of feeling? Obviously, we saw him come back with the knee wrap. How is he feeling heading into the next few weeks?
He's getting better and better. It's all conditioning at this stage right now. He gave us a huge lift in that first half. Again, early in the second half right there, too. It got a little difficult late when North Park went smaller and smaller and tried to full-court press, but we need him for Saturday. Illinois Wesleyan's big physical. He did a heck of a job on their big guy, Wilmson, last year in all 3 games we played, so I know he's going to play a huge, huge role for us on Saturday.
And you're segueing perfectly.
Here we go.
Next final question. Wesleyan, #1 team in the conference, took care of Elmhurst tonight. Big game on Saturday, senior day, packing the pit. How important is this game, and why should fans pack the pit on Saturday?
You are going to see just an outstanding small college basketball game with 2 very good teams, a lot of experienced players. You got guys that can score it on the perimeter. You got some size inside. It's a really, really fun watch if you come out here to Tarble on Saturday. And, you know, they beat us up pretty good. They got off to a heck of a start. I think they were up 15 points in the first 6-7 minutes down at their place before we stabilized. So we're healthier now, and I think we'll be ready to go. I know these next 2 days the guys are going to come super focused. So coming out on Saturday, it should be a heck of a day.
All right, Coach, I know we're both looking forward to it up here. Saturday's going to be a big game against Illinois Wesleyan, and tonight was a big win for you. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks so much, guys.
Head coach Steve Jarakovic talking with us after a 76-62 win. Tyler, any final thoughts?
Coach said it perfectly, just them able to stabilize it. Obviously, you're getting 17 three-pointers from North Park, something that they don't really want. You sort of talk about it where, yes, they're getting the 17 shots, but you don't talk about, hey, how many of them were late in the shot clock? How many of them were deep that they didn't really want? How many of them were contested? How many of them were X, Y, Z? And that sort of talks to it where it's like, yes, they're taking those shots and they're trying to go aggressive with it, but Carthage will slow it down completely and make sure they're taking the full shot clock rather than just trying to get those quick in-transition points.
I think that's going to just about do it here for our broadcast. Once again, your final score, the Carthage Firebirds 76, North Park 62. A much-needed win for the Firebirds. So as that concludes it, for my partner Tyler Sorensen, our executive producer Mike Love, our producer John Voinovich, our director Laura Stockham, Natasha Owen, Carlin, Sophia, Ty, and the rest of our crew, I'm Justin Corrigan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and as always, go Birds.